Hushaby Baby by Deepanjana Pal, Chapter 1. Hello, everyone. It's 11:30 p.m., and you're listening to Andar Ki Baat with Dr. Rai on Mumbai's favorite radio channel, 98.5 FM. I'm your host, Karishma, and Dr. Nadita Rai, our favorite lady doctor, is here with me in the studio to answer your questions. Hi, Nandita. Hello, Karishma. Hello to all our listeners. Okay, let's not waste any time. Here's the first email question. Dear Dr. Rai, my girlfriend has recently started demanding oral sex. I think this is because she's watching pornography. Because I don't approve of pornographic acts and because I like cleanliness, I don't want to put my mouth to the place that she urinates from. It smells. Also, that part of the female body isn't attractive, and my own arousal goes away if I have to see it. How do I tell my girlfriend without hurting her feelings? Clean and clear. So, Nandita, what do you have to say to our friend Clean and Clear? Wow, all right, let's not beat around the bush here. I can't believe you just said that. Well, okay, seriously, no more jokes. Dear Clean and Clear, if the sight of a vagina is a turnoff for you, then it sounds like you need to have a chat with your girlfriend about a whole lot more than just cunnilingus, which is the technical term for going down on a woman. There's nothing dirty about oral sex. The air you breathe is dirtier than what's between her legs. It's a human body part and an extremely efficient and smart one at that. Did you know the vagina is self cleaning? Anyway, if there really is a bad smell, then it's possible that your girlfriend needs to change her diet because it's affecting her pH balance. It could also be that she has a vaginal infection, in which case she should see a doctor. These infections can be easily treated with antibiotics. If she does have a vaginal infection while she's getting healthy, you can fix your head and then go down and give her head. Dear listeners, I'll have you know I'm the one who's blushing. Nandita's looking as unruffled and elegant as she always does. Oh, and I have some advice for Clean and Clear's girlfriend if she's listening. Unless this guy has some seriously hidden qualities, you deserve better, and so does your vagina. Boom! And that's why we love you, Dr. Nandita Rai. All right, it's time for a break. We'll be back with more questions and more Nandita on the other side. Well, sorry to hit you guys with this reading, but this is from Deepanjana Pal's book, Hushaby Baby, and I love it, love it, love it. Hello there, and welcome to the Second Life Book Club. My name is Draxtor Dupre. Before people comment on vaginal issues and my outfit, I am still wearing my tux from Sunday's wedding in Second Life. Monkey and Lime got married. Congratulations again. And I'm just going to wear this tux for a little while. Our guest today is Deepanjana Pal. She's a writer of a thriller, Hushaby Baby. She is also a author of an illustrated children's book. She writes Bollywood movie reviews and other film reviews for Film Companion. And she wrote also a book about a famous Indian painter, Ravi Varma, that we'll hear about. She is based in Mumbai. And here in Second Life, if the camera can follow me, in Second Life, she's a cloud. Hello, Deepanjana Pal.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me.
How do you feel as a cloud?
This is the best feeling. I would like to be a cloud all the time.
Why did you choose a cloud? Why not something more human?
I mean, why not a cloud? It's it changes color. This is the most exciting I think I've ever been in all my life. So why not a cloud?
This is
Big,
actually
big thanks to all of you who came up with this, by the way. I mean, I had no idea that you could even do something like this, and here we are. So thank you so much.
I think what Jana, what you just said, the why not, that's really kind of that is the second life thing is why not? Why can't I be this? And here you can. I'm moving this thing back a little bit. Now, I read this little excerpt from your book. It's a crime thriller. And this person, Nandita Rai, the doctor, is doing something really quite terrible, and we'll get into it. Um, but before I ask you about these serious issues, this thriller, I love it. It's very tight. The pacing is quite brilliant. There is a reveal, a deeper reveal at the end. You have these dynamics in the police department with this sort of gaggle of folks that have to work together. You know who the criminal is in the very beginning. I love these kind of setups, but you then see how these different parties are sort of plotting against each other. My question is, what makes this thriller um, uniquely Indian? And because this is based on, remember when we first met, we talked a little bit about, and I want to get into this too. We had a lot of
Mhm.
guests from India, and what I hear time and again is them talking about that they regret that their books are not distributed more widely, and that's primarily, according to them, because Indian publishers are like, yeah, nobody's interested in reading that outside of India.
Mm. Well, look, let's put it this way. It's not that there's no interest to read about India, but there's a certain vision of India that has sort of been passed down mostly in literature, but also perhaps our films and stuff, but definitely in literature and literary fiction in particular. There's a certain kind of exotic India that has been quite popular with non-Indian readers. Let's put it that way. Uh, and that's been, I mean, it's not like that's not entirely untrue. Like there is, I feel like everything that is exoticized about India is also, the complicated part is that some of the exotic stuff is just normal for us. Uh, but the fact of the matter is that there are many Indias, just like there are many facets to any person, country, society, community, that sort of thing. And so far as the outsider gaze on India is concerned, I don't think there's been that much interest in recognizing the multiplicity of India.
Mm.
It's been much more comfortable to think, sorry, it's been much more comfortable to think of India in one sense. And that's not something that India is alone in. Most post-colonial societies and countries have faced that problem as far as the European and the American gaze is concerned, the white American gaze particularly.
So they want more like a
Um,
nostalgia. Are you saying they want more like a I don't know. They want to cherry pick certain things that they like about that culture. Sort of like a nice, dinner with different sort of flavors, kind of like
yeah,
that,
I
and
mean,
not
there's a certain,
necessarily like contemporary issues. They don't want to be bothered with that.
I think even with contemporary issues, there's certain things that work. There's certain things that are more interesting, like for example, politics or violence or poverty. These things are more marketable, I think, or are considered more marketable. Um, but as far as Hushabye Baby is concerned, what makes it Indian? I suppose at a very obvious and basic level, the fact that it's set in Bombay and
Hmm.
it's filled with Indian characters. So there's that. But I think also the central issue at the heart of it is something that's quite unique to South Asian communities. Not to say that not to say that patriarchy is just our lot. Y'all have to deal with it as much as
Oh
we do.
yes,
But
but
you
the
know,
sex
everything
selective,
manifests in different ways, right? So
right?
yes, the sex selection thing is, once again, it's not just a South Asian problem, but we do have it very much so.
So that was something completely new to me. Sex selective abortion. That's the theme. Um, Shyla, who couldn't be with us today, she prepared this slide here. This is a little Wikipedia thing. An estimated 6.8 million fewer female births will be recorded across India by 2030 because of the persistent use of selective abortions. researchers estimate. India is estimated to have 63 million fewer women since sex determination tests took off in the 70s. Actually, that's from The Guardian. But basically, what that means is that couples, um, they decide to abort when their uh, baby is female because boys are more popular. I mean, that
Yeah,
sounds
everyone
insane,
wants a
but
son.
yeah.
Everyone
Well,
wants a son, and please don't forget that whatever official figures we have, this is literally just the tip of the iceberg, because a lot of a lot of these procedures happen without being recorded, and beyond the radar of agencies that have to collect this information.
very, I think the reason why boys are more popular should be obvious to everybody who admits who admits to the reality that we live in a patriarchy. Although recently YouTube served me a video of a guy who says we don't live in a patriarchy because men are too weak and blah blah blah. He was from the men's rights movement types. But Jana, if you could illuminate why in India people want boys, why do they want boys and not girls?
I mean, beats me. No, most look. These are cultural values that we've inherited and stopped questioning many, many generations ago. Because obviously, if we ask these questions, then neither patriarchy nor capitalism would be quite the thriving institutions that they are. But at a very pragmatic and basic level, because of the constraints that patriarchy puts on women, being a boy and then being a man comes with a certain amount of freedom and agency that women and girls don't have. That immediately makes being a boy more attractive. It also makes it possible for a boy to earn, for
Mm,
a man to earn and have more opportunities to earn and have a better life than girls and women do. So it becomes a chicken and the egg kind of situation, and
mhm,
that's quite central to the book. Actually, ultimately, when we sort of figure out what is happening and why it's happening, um, what the basic point that's being made there is that the world as it stands does not make it easy to be a woman, and in
mhm.
fact it actively makes it unfair and hard for a woman. So in that situation, how do you respond?
So you're talking about and again the book is brilliant. There's a big twist and it really is food for thought for a lot of reflection. And while I was doing a little research today, we put this slide together. Violence against women in India, there was an increase by 15% from 2021 to 22, or from 2020 to 2021, and the reported incidents increased. And I don't I I was reading these articles, and they're just horrendous um, in terms of violence against women in India, and also of lower castes and all that kind of stuff. And here is a list of some of these acts. There's dowry death. I don't even know what that is. Bride burning, breast ironing, female genital mutilation, all sorts of things. So I'm researching this, and then interestingly enough, I read the German um, Office for Political Education in Berlin sends me their email. I was like, oh wow, India is crazy. And then they sent me an email with their new report about violence in Germany, and 3 women per day, 3 women
Mm,
per day are murdered in Germany. So
mm.
there you go. That's leveling the playing field, unfortunately. So it's not any type of a national a
No,
unique
no,
national
yeah,
phenomenon at
no,
all.
no, not at all. And in fact, one of the more darker sides of this COVID induced lockdown that we had around the world was that, not that this has anything to do with the book, by the way, but still. One of the darker sides of the lockdown was that victims of domestic abuse were forced to be in confined spaces with their
That's right.
abusers.
That's right.
Reports of reports of assault, reports of harassment, reports of molestation, all of these things just shot up in a way that we haven't seen before. Um, and
And there's not
as
enough
far
safe
as
houses to begin with because I'm following a little bit this. There's a debate in Germany for victims that we should institute
yeah,
sort of safe houses where people could go. And
yeah,
there's a lot of really great small groups that advocate for that, but there's really nothing done. And as you pointed out, we really need to think about this, how during lockdown and maybe when the next lockdown comes, how that
mm.
impacts people who cannot leave a domestic violence situation.
Yeah. I mean, in any case, one of the things that really annoys me tremendously is when people will say, "Why doesn't someone just leave their abuser? If only it was that easy."
Yeah.
First of all, then on top of that, when you have something like a lockdown, then it just makes the situation so much more nightmarish, I think is the only word that I can think of. It's also worth keeping in mind that so far as India is concerned, this is probably true everywhere, but I know this is very true for India, that the in most cases the abuse happens because of someone who is a family member,
Hmm.
not by strangers. Like sexual assault by strangers, of course they happen and they are very serious issues. However, majority of assault, abuse, and all kinds of violation. The first quota, the biggest chunk, is the perpetrator is someone in your house. It's somebody whom you are supposed to trust.
Yeah. Hushaby Baby is Deepanjana's book, which is a fast-paced, tight thriller with all these issues. It's a contemporary thriller in contemporary India, in Mumbai, um, and deals with all this stuff. But the central issue is the selective abortion issue. DJ Flex here in the audience just said dowry deaths are deaths of married women who are murdered or driven to suicide over disputes about dowry. So thank you for that context. I would say, Jana, let's do the first reading, which is from the book. Um, if
Yeah,
you uh,
sure.
if you put the book on by checking your outfit,
Ooh,
we
yes. Hold
practice
on.
that.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did
take
indeed.
your time. Um, and
Ta-da!
there you go. Look at this wonderful cloud reading a book. In this
Once
world, even
again, thank
cloud.
you so much. Whoever did this, you are a genius and I love you.
Ruby did it. I hope she's watching. I was gonna say, we'll talk about this later with your illustrated kids book, Puchku, who is a book lover. This cloud here in Second Life, clouds don't have a Netflix subscription; they rather read. Um, Now you're gonna be. Oh, you sent me a different excerpt, but it doesn't matter. Now, is this still about Nandita Rai, who is the central
Yes,
character?
yes.
She's a doctor, gynecologist. She runs this clinic, and she's at the center. She's being accused of a crime of this selective abortion. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and she's put into custody. What else do we need to set up this excerpt?
Not much. I mean, basically, the only thing to really keep in mind is that Nandita is a very respected gynecologist. She's well known for being almost like an activist.
That's right. She's an act.
When she is
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So when she is initially accused of carrying out sex selective abortions, this is something that nobody can actually believe that she would do because her work seems to suggest that she would do the opposite, which is, make sure no one ever does any sex selection in the first place, which, by the way, is illegal in India. You're technically not supposed to do this. And if anyone reports that their gynecologist or obstetrician or any doctor of any sort has tried to find the sex of your fetus, they can be stripped of their medical license for 3 years, etc., etc. It's supposed to be a pretty serious thing, and there are laws in place to penalize doctors who do this, but obviously that doesn't stop a lot of people.
I
So
completely forgot to ask that. Thank you for clarifying that this is in fact illegal. Um,
yeah, it's in fact like if you walk into any clinic, any gynecological clinic in India, you will see that there will be posters saying that this is illegal, sex selection is illegal, and if anybody suggests even any kind of sex selection, then you can report them to so and so email number, etc., etc. It's a very serious offense. Um, to give credit where credit is due, the legal system has attempted to crack down on it, but that creates a different set of problems, which this book doesn't look at, which is that those who do want abortions and need abortions need to have it done in a certain amount of time. Otherwise, and abortions in general become contentious because while we don't have the issues America does, abortions are legal. Anybody can get them, etc. Within a like in the early stages, that is after a period of time, basically from the point of time at which you can tell the gender of the fetus, from that point, you are not supposed to have a medically induced abortion unless there is threat to the mother. And she has expressly chosen, or there's a medical opinion saying that she should abort the baby.
this does open a can of worms because you can then, you could run somebody out of business by accusing them of
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
all sorts of things. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. It's which is a different problem entirely, but yes, that is something that many doctors have issues with. But the bit that I want to read for you is basically when Nandita Rai is found guilty of sex selection, and she's not been doing so. Generally, what happens is that sex selection is done to figure out whether if there is a male child, basically. So if the fetus is male, then that's great, nothing's going to be done. Except what Nandita Rai has been doing is that she has been making sure that anybody who has a female fetus, uh, their their child is aborted or that fetus is aborted. And she says that she's been doing this as a way to protect women, actually. And this is the bit where she puts across her argument. um okay, so this is so she's speaking to the press at this point of time.
Hmm.
Thank you everyone for coming here and giving me the chance to speak. I will not be taking any questions, but would be very obliged if you would give me the time to read out a statement that I have prepared. Accept the verdict of the esteemed court and will not be challenging it, Nandita Rai said into the microphones. There are laws of the land that the court is obliged to uphold, and I respect that. The court has found me guilty of breaking a law, and I will serve the sentence because I accept I have broken the law. But do remember, penalizing me does not change the reality of what it is to be a woman in this country, and the fact that this law that deems me a criminal is one that does not recognize a woman's right over her body. If a woman wants to be rid of the child within her, should she not be free to do so? If a woman decides that this world is too cruel for a daughter and wants to save her flesh and blood the agony of existence, is that wrong? And those who call me a criminal or claim I've betrayed my ideal say with any conviction that the fetuses I prevented from becoming girls would have lived happy, secure lives. And they promise those unborn girls a life untainted by prejudice and gender bias, that they would not be harassed outside their homes and molested within, if not raped. Look at the crimes in our society, look at the way we treat our daughters, and you will understand why guilt is not my due. It is yours for giving birth to a daughter, even though you know this society does not deserve her. Have you done anything to break the cycle? I have. So just remember, my serving a sentence doesn't make your guilt any less. Thank you. Yeah,
Wow,
that's
and
the bit that I wanted to read.
this is Deepanjana Pal reading from Hushaby Baby. It's out. You can get it on Amazon. fantastic, and it's really interesting how she shames everybody, and again, you have to really think about sort of the concept of like we're solving the issues of crimes against women by having less women. I mean, this is almost this, isn't that kind of a similar concept as uh I don't know, well, this woman was raped because she had her skirt was too short. If she had a longer skirt, then she wouldn't have been raped. It's kind of the same mindset.
It was really hard to write this monologue. It took me a long time to get it, because I didn't want Nandita Rai to come across as easily dismissible as a villain. Um,
Hmm.
I wanted I wanted it to I wanted her to make you think, basically. And that this monologue is quite central to that, to making her a complicated and complex character. Um, so yeah, I hope it makes you think. It definitely made me think while I was writing it.
Penny in the audience says blame the victim, and in this case, not even giving the victim, the potential victim, a chance to be in this world to prevent the crime.
Yeah,
It's like
I
the
think the
crime prevention by preventing the I don't know, people who smash windows and break into convenience